Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our Toolbox Talk with She Masters. My name is Masako Lekoe. I'm your host, and we are really grateful to have you on board tonight, as usual. Please feel free to share the session with your friends, your family, and also start watch parties. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Yes, it is Toolbox Talk with She Masters, where we are discussing issues of health and safety, not only for employers or employees, but for all industries, for all everybody out there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, Today is a beautiful day where we are going to be discussing um, COVID 19 as a catalyst to gender based violence. And with me tonight, we are hosting Maureen Mothubi, who is, Maureen Mothuba, who is Mrs Botswana 2019. She is joining us tonight to discuss this issue. And before we start, let me welcome Maureen to introduce herself to you, my guests. Maureen, hello, beautiful lady.
Hi. Hi,
Welcome,
to
welcome,
all.
Maureen.
Yeah,
Welcome,
thank you so
welcome to
much.
Toolbox Talk with She Masters. We are happy to
Thank you
host
so
you.
much.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you so
introduce
much.
yourself. Introduce yourself. Who is Maureen? Yes,
Okay, that's a long one. Right, but I'll just cut to the chase.
yes.
My name is Maureen Mothuba, 38 years old, married to Tatayane Ntobani for 9 years now, and we are blessed with three children, one girl and two boys. Very naughty boys. Um, Maureen is Mrs. Botswana 2019. Usually people would say former queen, former Mrs. Botswana. So I always remind them that there will always be one Mrs. Botswana 2019 and other
Exactly.
Mrs. Botswana years. So there'll never be a Mrs. Botswana 2019. So
Indeed.
I'm not a former. I am
You are Mrs.
the
Botswana.
one and only. Yes.
Miss Botswana
Um,
2019.
yes.
Thank you,
Mrs. Botswana
Maureen.
2019. Yes. And
Mm.
uh, Mrs. Top Africa, Mrs. Universe Top Africa 2019, and a ninth position in the Mrs. Universe competition 2019 again.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yes,
So, Maureen, you are talking about you being Mrs. Botswana, you Mrs. Mutuba, and are you an employee? Are you an employer? Career-wise, where are you?
well, I'm both. I am an employee and I'm an employer. When
Oh
you
my
talk
goodness.
of being an employer, people would think that you are running a very big company. You have a lot of people under your belts, but an employer, you can even have two people running your household. Then you
Mhm.
are an employer. Right.
Exactly.
And I'm an employee, a government employee for that matter. I worked for the Ministry of Tertiary Education. I'm in the tertiary education based in Plokwen College of Education.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Ms.
Yes.
Hiwi. Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to share the session with your friends, your family. Start watch parties because today we are going to be talking about a very big topic. We are going to be talking about COVID 19 as a catalyst for gender based violence. Yes, Maureen, let us start. Let us just hit it straight. You know,
Mm,
we have been in this pandemic of COVID 19, which has, where we have seen the rise of gender based violence. And this is why we have
mm,
brought up this topic, COVID 19, as a catalyst for gender based violence. Yes, it is a fact that gender based violence has been there. But ever since COVID 19, we have seen the rise in the numbers of gender based violence. We have seen the rise in the numbers of the matters associated with gender based violence. This is why we want to discuss it. And again, the world is in the 16-day campaign of this pandemic, because it is also a pandemic, and the world is actually making a global call to raise awareness on the issue of gender-based violence against women and girls, to show them that this is a fundamental violation of human rights,
Mm-hmm.
so let us go into the details, like why this time, what can we say are the influencing factors for the rise of this gender-based violence.
All right. Masoho, when you talk of a gender-based violence, people usually think, most people, well, they still believe that when you talk of GBV, you're talking about women only being affected by this issue.
Yes.
But it has shown, and it is on the rise now, that even men and boys are being affected by this issue. Um, when you talk about being violated, our country is facing an increase in this unprecedented uh, time of COVID-19, whereby we have seen a rise actually in the GBV cases. For instance, in Botswana, just the first week of our lockdown, when this pandemic started, the first week in our country, uh, the women's shelter in the country were overwhelmed by the number of women who ran there to ask for help. And one may
Mm,
wonder, don't you, why should this pandemic be, you know, I'd say, why should it affect women so much that
mm,
they'd run from home, you know?
mm,
What I'm trying to say is that we are facing a monster being COVID-19, something
mm,
that we don't know when it's going to end. And
mm.
while we are still figuring out what this COVID-19 is, this monster gives birth to a baby
to,
monster,
to to another one,
to
so
another one.
yeah, and
Mm,
and 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 as you are saying that, like, it affects everybody, like it affects men, it affects women, and
mm,
we're talking about the COVID-19 as a monster that has bred the other monster, little monster.
mm,
Let us look at this, the COVID-19, looking at the situation where people had to move from workplaces to start working from home.
mm,
That is the time where a lot of things happened. People having to stay with, like, partners having to stay together. People who are not used to staying together, even if we tend to take, like, workplaces as our place of refuge, because we
I
spend
was,
most of
yeah,
the time there.
yeah, yeah.
But ever
I,
since we had to move from home, now start working from, I mean, move from work and work
from
from
work, oh
home,
yeah.
that was
Mm,
where the rise began, and that is where
mhm,
a lot of problems have started. What do you think about
mm.
that?
You know what? Like you were saying, uh, this period, it has exposed a lot of things. It has exposed a lot of ills that have been going on behind closed doors, that have been
Yeah,
going on in the homes, and you'll find that, just coming to think about, going to work as an excuse of, not really an excuse, as a way of escaping the
yeah.
abuse. You can see that
Mm.
at home, a lot of people are not happy. A lot of
A
people
lot
are
of
not
people.
happy, and we are so looking forward to the next day to go to work. And it shouldn't be like that. Kids are
Mm.
so looking forward to going to school tomorrow so that she or he can get a nap during class time, and that is not helping us.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. So this,
So,
on its own, yeah,
mm,
this on its own, it shows us that, homes are not happy homes. Homes
so
are just
the
houses.
problem,
Mm,
the problem, or the root cause for all this gender-based violence is not necessarily COVID. COVID has
mm,
made this problem to be
no.
exposed. to come out. So the
It has
main problem,
exposed,
the
yeah,
root cause is from the
yeah,
homes. So if we need to solve anything, if we need to address any problem, if we need to bring any solution, we have to start from where? From home. Like they say, safety
from
begins at
home.
home. We cannot expect to be, to expect our workplaces to be safe if we are coming from home not safe, with that,
Yeah,
that spirit or that bad mentality of
yeah,
bad homes that are
yeah,
not safe.
yeah,
So I really
yeah.
agree with that, with you when you say that. So one of the other things that I've realized, is that, um even working from home, there are problems that, kind of erupted from there. Like, when you are home, you expect parents to be doing this, mothers to be doing this, sharing duties at home and so forth, like that. What are those other things that we think that would have contributed or influenced this gender-based violence to be, more as it is now? Apart from working from home, what are the things that have actually, come out of this thing here? Yes, Maureen. Yes, Maureen.
Yeah. Um,
Yes, yes,
Hello,
sorry.
are we together?
Yes, now we can
Oh,
hear
sorry
you
about
now.
that. Um,
Mm.
you know what? You mentioned something before I can answer the question you asked.
Mm.
You said it begins at home. Like, okay, like you say, safety begins at home, or love begins at
Mm.
home, charity begins at home. There's
Exactly.
always something begins at home.
To
But
begin
you
at
know what?
home.
Yeah, but you know what? I stand to be corrected. I believe that it begins within an individual before it can begin at home. So I'm an individual, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a wife. If I don't
Mm.
have it in me to say, I want to be happy, I want to make someone happy, I can have a home and not encourage that kind of a behavior in my home, a good behavior. So how am I expected my home to start behaving in that particular way? If at all, it doesn't start with me. So I'd say it starts with an individual first. To say, as a husband, as a wife, and as a daughter or a son, it starts with
Because
you. Then,
individuals make a home.
yes, those individuals, they make a home. And then a home, many homes, they make what? A society. A society is a country.
Exactly. A
So it
community.
starts with an individual. Right. Just to get
Mm.
back to, yeah, to answer your question, was it the
Mm.
COVID that, or sorry, was it the working from home that interest? Well, no, I'd say, um, because we were made, or we were supposed to be, okay, safety has to come first, so we had
Mm.
to stay home, follow the right precautions, the health precautions, all the all that has to be followed in order for us to fight and win this COVID-19. I think being on so many lockdowns, um, money became a problem. Money became a problem in the sense that food got finished, because now we were honoring all the meals. You were
Mm.
honoring breakfast, you're honoring mid-morning snack, you're honoring
Mm.
lunch, mid, you know evening snack, those kind of things.
Mm.
So you'll find that there were a lot of things that really contributed to GBV.
Mm.
Like I was saying, financial stability at home, there was issues. And then again, uh, if I go back to that issue, we have made workplace our safe haven.
Mm.
So now we are in this house, in one room, or one, not really one room, but one house, and we get to spend a whole lot of time with each other. You tend to get, or to notice, some wrongs with or amongst each other, you know, spending time with each other, which we were not used to.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
tend to identify do nyana nyana, you know, and then in that way, that's when we, you know, started to realize this GBV rise. You know, sometimes even the patience, we ran out of patience when children are just running around making noise when you wanted to do something on your laptop or what, you know, you become so agitated over nothing. And
True. True.
husbands, maybe, yeah, husbands, you know, I'd say when you are just at home, you are not exercising, you're not doing anything, you're just eating and sleeping, watching TV, your body gets to get tired for doing nothing. Your mind gets tired for not thinking, you know. And again, just going out, getting that fresh air, you are not getting that. And you tend to be so agitated over nothing. And that is one thing that also contributed to the rise of GBV. Yeah, you tend,
Yes.
mm,
Thank you very much, Muchiru.
mm,
Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to share the session with your friends, your family. Remember, this is Toolbox Talk with She Masters, where we are talking COVID-19 as a catalyst to gender-based violence. Yes, moving on, Maureen.
mm,
Now that we have identified the problem, yes, what do we think? This is just me and you talking, what do we
yeah.
think would be like the things that we could identify to say that this person has got is a victim or of gender-based violence? Let's say we're going back to work because we've been home years. Now we're going back to back, or we're in a society, we're at
Mm,
home, we have relatives and so forth. How do we identify
mm.
a victim of gender-based violence?
You know, Masoho, it's a very, very difficult to identify a person. Actually, when you are not trained for such issues,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's easy for me, just a normal person, to be able to identify an affected person. Why? Because people tend to feel so embarrassed with this issue of being abused. Women tend to hide away the pain through makeup. Okay, we thought makeup is for us to look beautiful, like I'm beautiful right now. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
look at my lipstick. Right. We we
True
tend
that,
to think
yeah.
that, yeah, we tend to think that wow, she looks beautiful. You know, you'll see a woman putting on a beautiful makeup, lipstick, everything all done, you know, but she won't be looking happy, you know.
Mm.
It's the
Mm.
beautiful face but no smile. So
Mm.
you wonder what is wrong with this person. And like you were asking, how can you identify such persons? Sometimes, okay, the change of behavior, like when we got back to work, some people, a lot of people were complaining about, this morning when I woke up and started applying my makeup, my husband was like, why can't you just be a natural beauty and all that? You know, those kind of small talks that are not nice. I mean, like when somebody is not appreciating your efforts on looking better,
Mm.
or
Mm.
somebody not supporting you to look your best, you know. um Sometimes, yeah, like I'm saying, it's hard to identify, but there are those things
Yeah.
that you can tell what something is not happy with this woman,
those those
you know.
those little things, those little
Yeah.
alarming things, but
Yes.
and I like
Yeah.
and I like the point you mentioned where you said that women will be putting on makeup. But here,
Mm,
gender-based violence, yes, we know that there's a lot of so far the high numbers are from the side of women, like showing
mm-hmm,
that they are the ones that are being affected more with
mm,
gender-based violence. But it doesn't mean
mm,
that men as well are not affected. No, they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
But yes,
yeah.
for now we know that the numbers from the ladies' side are higher.
It's
But
higher. Yes.
yeah, even with men, Maureen, I would think that maybe even with men, they'll had a lot of things, a lot of emotions, only you can only see that this is a victim. I don't find this is a victim of gender-based violence, probably with the physical, signs, maybe
Appearance. Yeah.
the appearance, the bruises, and
Mm,
also that. But
mm,
remember, when it comes to the bruises, when
mm,
things get physical, that's when
mm,
it's at an advanced stage of gender-based violence,
mm,
because
mm, mm,
we could say that, we could say, with the talk, the way somebody talks to you, that is
mm.
violence, isn't it? The way somebody
Yeah.
treats you, that is violent. The way somebody violates your emotion, that is violence. But when it start getting physical, that is when you start to
It's
see that,
another
okay, this
stage.
person,
Yes.
there's a problem
Mm,
here. But the thing
mm,
is,
mm,
how do we identify before it gets to the physical part? How do we identify? Which I very much agree with you that it is very difficult, unless somebody comes up and say that this is, I'm experiencing this at home, I don't like this, this person did this to me. I just want to speak for both women and men, because even
mm,
men, it's hard for them to discuss this kind of things. But it is high time that they come up and they open up and talk about
mm,
issues of gender-based violence, because
mm.
with the talking on its own, we can cap a lot of things, we can cap a lot of incidents, we can cap a lot of matters, we can cap
Yeah.
a lot and a lot and a lot. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Maureen. Yeah,
Yeah.
and going forward, I just want to understand. Let's talk about this. When do we say as high time? When do we say enough is enough? Let's say we have identified somebody with being in gender-based violence, either from work, either in the community, either at home.
Mm.
When do I say enough is enough? When do I stand up for myself?
Masoro, I'll tell you that, okay, I hear you when you say, okay, I'm talking about women in most cases. Yeah, I'm referring to women in most cases.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
am I am a woman. Yes, I stand
Exactly,
for
yeah.
women. I strongly stand for women and children. Children, both girls and
Exactly, yeah.
boys. Yes. I'm
Mm,
saying women in most cases because 1 in 3 women, according to the National Relationship Study that was done in 2018 here in Botswana, it
mm.
says that 1 in 3 women are being affected
Yeah,
by
that's a
GBV.
lot.
Yes. Yeah, and our country being second in the world, it has been rated or ranked second in the world as the highest number of rape cases, like 92.2 per 100,000 people. That's
Mm,
a whole lot
a
of
lot.
number.
Mm,
Yeah. So, um, just to answer you, when do you say enough is enough?
mm,
Until I would say enough will be enough until we change our structures, our cultural beliefs, our, our the religious beliefs. That's when enough will be enough. Enough will be enough when everybody takes part in this thing to say, you know what, this has to stop. It has to stop. I'm saying cultural beliefs because there are sayings that we believe uh, have been used over the years, and we are still using them. Sometimes I even find myself saying to my boy, ah, don't be like a girl, and then at that
mm,
same time I'll just snap out of it and say, you know what, this is a child.
mm.
I have 2 boys. This is a child. He has to express himself. He has to cry. He has to feel that pain and relieve it through crying. And you know what, I'll just get back to my senses quite quickly and then realize that I'm talking to a child, I'm not talking to an
Yeah.
adult here. What is it that I'm telling him? What is it that I'm instilling in his mind to say, man up? Those kind of
Mm,
societal, yeah, those kind of societal um masculine beliefs,
yeah.
whereby you are told, no, you are a man, you are a man, you know
Mm.
yeah,
A
don't
man
be don't
doesn't a
be a
man doesn't
girl.
cry. A man
A
doesn't
man
cry.
doesn't
Don't
cry.
be a
Yeah.
girl, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
mostly
and the
again,
thing.
And we'll also, like, I really agree with you when you say that, like, we also see that especially in the also in the workplaces where you have women leaders, and they want to say, they come up with probably an assertive comment or an assertive you know program
A
or
way of
something to
encourage,
put
yeah.
a way of encouragement, or
Yeah.
yes, we actually refer to them like, this one is bossy. Why?
Yes.
Because of what they are putting in place, because
Yes.
of being assertive as a woman, and we say that they are bossy. Those kind of cultural beliefs or norms, or is it norms? I don't know.
Labels, labels.
Very good. Those kind of
Yeah.
cultural labels, they're the ones which are
Mm.
actually influencing, and they come from
Yeah.
afar. They come from
Yeah.
afar. These are things that we've seen, as in, like, they are just okay. They are just okay, but no, they are not okay, because they are actually breeding a kind of
Mm.
person, or a kind of culture, a kind of belief that we say, no, it is fine to say a woman should behave like this, a woman shouldn't
Mm.
behave like this, a woman, when
Mm.
she's in a certain position, she's not supposed to say commands like this, because if you say command like this, then you are bossy, you are like a man.
You can
That
see that I'm smiling, or I'm
yes.
laughing. You just said something that made me uh, remember something about myself.
Yes.
I used to have a very long hair during
Mm.
my junior school days. So I'd one time, I'd just plait and make it like a boy cut, you know, because I had wanted to my parents would tell me that, you have to be tough, you have to be, this is a cruel society. When men see you as a beautiful girl, young beautiful girl at a junior school, they'll start thinking dirty thoughts about you. They'll start having uh, like dirty ideas, what. So that on its own, you can see that my parents were telling me that it's better to be a boy than a girl. you know Instead of
Yes.
them saying, you know what, be proud to be who you are,
Praise who you
how
are.
you are. Yes, just be proud of it. But these are the ways to live in this society, my girl. Do one, two, three things. I can. Yes.
Mm.
So I'm just laughing at you because I remember one time I started discovering myself. I started doing a ponytail and
Mm.
applying lip gloss, and my dad was like, "Oh my god, when I get that on its own was like, maybe being lakharib is not a good thing. You see, you know,
Mm.
I'm referring to the labels that are being used
Exactly.
in our cultural
Exactly.
Setswana language. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
those labels,
Very good.
they make us, yeah, we fear our brothers because we have been
Mm.
made to fear them. Like when you
Mm.
play with them, you are told, so you started playing with boys, you'll get
Boys,
pregnant.
yeah.
So we
Uh-huh.
always look at boys like they are monsters. You play with him,
Mm.
the next thing you are out of school, the next thing
Something
you are
bad is going to
pregnant.
happen.
But yes, so we are not taught to relate with our brothers, with
Mm.
our male counterparts. We are not taught how to relate well with them. And we are not
Exactly.
taught to say, if he starts behaving like this, tell him one, two, three. Show him one, two, three.
Enough,
And
enough.
again, as
Mm-hmm.
boys, yeah, as boys from home, you'll find that a lot of parents, it's all about the girl child more than the boy child, but forgetting that
Mm.
it is these boys that one day will be husbands to other people's children. And we have to start building them right, like
No.
raising them right from the young age. I'm telling you, if we all do that as parents, as uh, boy parents, or what do you call it when you have boys and no girls, you know, yeah, and then you start telling them, you don't even have to choose chores for them to say, no, a boy has to do this, a girl has to do
Exactly.
this. Just let
Mm.
them do all the
Equality.
chores in the
That's where the
house. They
equality
have to
part comes in,
yes.
because we started from
Mm-hmm.
a very young stage. Men, boys
A
don't
very
see
young age,
themselves as
yes.
doing only these kind of jobs, only girls are the ones who are doing household chores. That is why, Maureen, again, we
Yes.
come back to where we came from, where we said that working from home, one of the areas,
Mm,
again, one of the problems was that, when people were back home now, staying at home, working from home, confined
mm,
in that small space of theirs, women mostly would be doing the household chores while the men are still sitting,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
that contributed to a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements, and that, or maybe men as well would have done one, two, three things that they would expect women to have done, and that would have
mm,
risen like those arguments that contributed to the gender-based violence. Yes, Maureen.
mm.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for your contribution. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, this is again Toolbox Talk with She Masters, where we are talking COVID-19 as a catalyst to gender-based violence. Please do share the session with your friends, your family, your loved ones, and do start watch parties. If you are watching live, we really appreciate it. And if you are watching this as a recap, continue to share with your friends. We are here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, where we talk everything but safety. Yes, Maureen.
Yep.
Let us go
Yeah.
on. Let us go on now. Let us go back to the workplaces. Where
Mm,
from home we go back to the workplaces where we come with our stressors, where we come with our issues from home, where we come with those scars within us that we are not showing
mm,
to anybody. Now the
mm,
question is, in the workplaces, what are the structures, or what are the things in place, that are the problems that are put in place to address gender-based violence? Remember, like we said, it's not everybody who would
mm,
open up, but
mm.
let us talk about what the workplaces can do or start
Just
doing,
the
you know
workplace.
to
Ah.
yeah, at the
Mm,
workplace, to care for this
yeah.
monster.
Um. I think I I would say, like you mentioned, the change of structures. If we change the way we address issues at home, not at home, at work. If you tend to to not normalize bad behavior, uh, by not normalizing bad behavior at workplace, I'm talking about whereby, you know being a boss lady, or a woman leader, you are not, then those funny comments of belittling you, whereby a man would say, I don't take instructions from a woman, even though you are his supervisor. If you tried to curb those kind of behaviors at work, we denormalize bad behavior at work. I think that could work. Again, uh, like the UNFPA, it has shown the technical support to my ministry, and to education, and to, since I'm in that Ministry of Education, and to the Gender Affairs Department,
Mm,
just the technical support. We know that but sometimes people are not free, or open enough to, or comfortable enough, sorry, to open up about their issues face to face to someone. But if we have those things that are put in place, whereby you can just come and do your audio without your face being shown, or share your problem without your face being shown. You know how we do it when you go to church and you confess your sins. You know that
mm,
corner that the
mm.
priest doesn't see you.
Confession, kind
With
of.
that, yeah, confession kind of booth. If we can have such things at work, whereby somebody feels like, today I want to talk, I want to say it out, and then she goes into that booth, there'll be
Mm,
someone who is trained to listen to such people, but they are
mm,
not able to see them. And again, that, mind you, that person who's there to should be a professional help, who's there, who
mm,
has been trained to listen to those people. And I'd really feel comfortable to talk to a wall. Well, even though that wall, behind the wall, there's that stranger, somebody who's listening to me. But let it be somebody who doesn't know me, who doesn't work with me, who doesn't
mm,
interact with me on daily basis. That kind
mm,
of support held in the workplace, it can be right. And there can
mm,
be some offices, Offices, we know at schools, we do have the guidance and counseling officers or teachers, whereby the children would come and say whatever the problems that they have. Even at workplaces, it is not very common in our country to have counselors for workers. You know
Exactly.
why? Because people tend to be not professional. So I would
Mm,
say if we can improve such cultures at work, whereby we know that there's just an office only dealing with this kind of issues.
mm,
Thirdly, I would say, we can improve, um, even making people aware. We can have maybe once a month at work, we do hold such interactive conferences, just the staff and the professionals coming from outside to come and address us on such issues of GBV. They teach us, and they share information. They make us aware of what is happening.
mm,
You'll find that a lot of people, I'm telling you, Masoho, I may not be uh, um, being experiencing it firsthand, the GBV firsthand, but I may know a friend or my sister or just a relative, a close person to me going through that. And with the information that I get from work during those kind of trainings, those kind of workshops, I can be able to share with them at home. Those people
very
who are afraid to go out there and report these issues. And again, um, our police is really, I don't know what to call them, but they're really trying so hard to go from schools to schools, because mostly they're based in schools, to share about
mm,
such issues and talk about the children. And talking
yeah.
about that, yeah, it takes me to my project, what I've been doing, what I did before the crowning of Mrs. Botswana, and then what I'm continuing doing right now. I worked with the police. Yeah, they've been so helpful. I worked with Botswana Gender-Based Violence Support and Prevention Center. I worked
Mm,
with Bureau, Botswana Integration Bureau. I'm forgetting what but it's Botswana Institute of
mm,
Rehabilitation and Integration of Offenders. Did you
mm,
get the
mm.
name? Did you get the
Yeah,
name?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm,
This is it's an organization very close to my heart.
mm.
Yes.
Yes.
And mm,
Yeah, thank you very much, Maureen, for that. When you said a lot, you said a mouthful, actually. You really said a
yeah,
mouthful.
I
And
did. I did.
then, like, just to sum up on what you just said, I'm like, okay, what are the programs that are in place and at workplaces, to cater for gender-based violence? You talked about,
Mm,
having organizations or having meetings or having sessions where
mm,
employees can interact and talk about, gender-based
mm,
violence issues,
mm, mm,
and it
mm,
should be somebody coming from outside, even if we'll be
mm,
having them within the workplace, talking to Maureen as my colleague. But sometimes
mm,
we need to have people coming, visiting, and just discussing these kind of issues with us. That would be good.
yeah.
And the other thing, we
Mm,
talked about counseling, and counseling that it could be done by professionals. If only
mm,
workplaces could invest, kind of could invest on getting professional counselors to
mm,
counsel their staff. That also could work. I can imagine, me having
mm,
to talk to
mm,
Maureen seeing me looking happy all the time, and tomorrow I say, Maureen, my problem is this at home, this and that and that and that. Sometimes there's that barrier that actually, prevents me from totally opening up and getting
Mm.
total assistance, because there's no need of telling a lie, saying to Maureen that I know everything is okay, it's just this little
Yeah.
problem. You
Even though
are
I
going
can
to
see a
help
bump in your
me.
forehead.
Yes, you are going to help me, or you're going to advise me based on the little information that I'm giving you that might
Mm.
not be true. But if I
Mm.
talk to somebody else and open up, somebody that I know this person, I can open up and they will assist me. That person will be able to provide solutions based on the true reflection of my problem, you know? So that
Yeah.
is one
Yeah.
thing that I got from you. And the other one I think, Maureen, that is really, really important is the issue of confidentiality at work.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
The reason
Mm.
why we are running to getting professionals, getting to people that we don't know, is because we don't trust the system within our workplaces. We don't trust,
Yes.
the way things will be done. Like if I tell you something, Maureen is going to share with this person, then Maureen is going
Yes.
to, that person is going to, then the whole organization knows about my problem, and I didn't want
Mm-hmm.
my problem to be out like that. That is confidentiality. So organizations should have policies like whoever is
Mm.
being told these kind of issues, in a professional manner, should keep the secret. Just like we have our HR. HR does
Mm.
not share information about employees. So this should be, one of the policies that should be there as well, and should be effectively, you know,
Yeah.
practice. When we are talking about this, Maureen, we are talking about occupational health services within the organization. We also, could encourage, employees to just to open up. Everybody,
Mm.
remember, employees
Mm.
are not only going to big organization. Even like you said, you are an employer. If you have your helper at home, you are an employer. What services
Yeah.
do you have for that helper?
Yeah.
They should feel
Mm.
comfortable. They should open up. They should be able to be they should actually be in a position to talk to you as the employer, to say that, you know what, I
Mm.
have issues at home, this and that and that and that, because with that little information you can,
Yeah.
go a long way of helping. So Maureen,
Yeah.
thank you very much for your input. We've said a mouthful. The little information that we have shared with the rest of the people there, I think it will be worthwhile to them. It will be helpful to them. Just in
Yeah.
conclusion, what can you say? What can you say to our viewers in conclusion to
It,
this
you know what?
discussion? A word of in
You know
conclusion,
what?
yeah.
First thing, I would like to thank you, Masako, for just giving me this platform to talk about these issues. You know, we do sometimes have that little information, and for our two cents contribution to 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 this issue, you'll find that sometimes it was your 2 cents that was
Mm,
missing to win the war or to win the battle. So I'd say thank you for giving me this platform, for opening up your platform for me to share this issue, a concern, to show support uh, to my fellow countrymen and to the rest of the world, because we are not only being listened to by the people we know, even other people from other countries. I believe they are watching us live on Facebook. So
mm,
I'd say what I can say is that uh, believe that you can be the change that you want to see in the world. I always say this, even to my students. I'm a
mm,
lecturer, by the way, for
mm,
communications. So I always tell them that, you know what, for you to be able to see the good, do good. Start good with you
yeah.
before you want, if you want someone to do good to you, do good to them.
Mm,
So it is whereby, like we were saying earlier on, it starts with a person and then it goes on to the next person.
mm,
And
mm,
I'd like to say, um, you talked about the workplace. We can be encouraged to be professional. If professionalism can be encouraged at work, you'll find that a lot of things can get back to normal, whereby it is normal to have a woman as a boss. Not
mm.
really, I don't like the word boss, because boss is more like
That's
it's your
the
way or
kind
the
of
highway.
house, yeah.
Yeah, it's your way or the highway. So
Yeah.
we women, yeah, women in leadership, uh I don't want to say this as a bad thing, but Right now in our cabinet, we have less than 5 women. Is it 5 or less women in our cabinet? So I'd want to see at least, if we say we have failed, at least the cabinet should have, women should occupy 40% or even 45% of the seats in the cabinet, because it is us women who are mothers, who are who are mothers and who are sisters. That a woman would think, no offense to men, but a woman will always consider other people. A woman will always be considerate, in other words. So I'm a talker. I talk. Sometimes I even forget. I get lost in my tracks. So because
thank you.
yeah, you were saying, what can I say? Right now,
Yes,
Masoko,
that
what
you
I'm
said.
doing. Yes, right now
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and it is what I like. What I'm doing, I'm giving. Uh, um, what is it? I forgot the term to use it, but whereby I ask for donations like sanitary pads for our boarding schools. Right now, I'm working on the third school. The other time I was up in Little Game. I was there. I went to Mahubu. It's a senior school. It starts from Form 1 to Form 5. I went to donate the pets there, and this time I want to go across Dibite. I know you know where Dibite is, even though you are far away from home. Yeah.
Yes,
So
thank you.
actually, what I'm really trying to do to donate these pets to these boarding schools, I'm really trying to fight, to help my country fight this gender-based violence issue, like really hard. I'm really trying to fight it, because it is these small things that our children tend to want because they cannot afford them, and then they end up being involved in relationships, abusive relationships, or relationships with elderly people, because they can't afford other things, so they'll just settle for any kind of relationship, for any kind of ill treatment, for them at the end of the day to be provided with a packet of pads. So
Yeah.
I'm really trying to raise this, um uh to donate, you know. I'm really trying to donate to boarding schools, more especially, yeah, to boarding schools,
Yes.
because our children there, you'll find that they're really struggling. And
Oh,
in a way, I'm just praying to God that I'll continue until, so being
yeah.
a queen does not end the minute you have won the crown and then you go home and sit with your children. No, as you will always be known as Mrs. Botswana 2019, and you will always be seen as Mrs. Botswana 2019 through your works, you know.
Exactly.
So we don't
And we
want to
really, really
forget.
appreciate you, Maureen. We
Yes,
appreciate your
yeah.
work. Yeah.
Mm,
Okay, Maureen. Thank you very much
mm,
for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, Toolbox Talk with She Masters. Today we were discussing COVID-19 as a catalyst to um, gender-based violence, as a catalyst to
yes,
gender-based violence, and we were hosting our queen, Mrs. Botswana 2019, Maureen Mothuba. Maureen Mothuba. From me
yeah.
and She Masters, I'd like to say that in conclusion, gender-based violence is here. It is here. It has always been here, and it has seen the rise with COVID-19. It is our
Mm,
responsibility as people, as everybody, to respect ourselves. I believe that it starts with an individual, like Maureen has said. We need to respect ourselves. If I respect myself, I will respect the next person. I will respect my home. I will respect my community, and I respect my nation and the world at large. So it is our
mm,
responsibility, everybody. Love each other, do what is right. If you're having any problems, if you're having any trouble, anything at all, always find a way to discuss. Setswana sa re,
mhm,
"Ntwa-kgolo ke ya molomo, e seng ya diatla." So why do we have to
mm,
resort to to these matters, to these violent acts? It is high time that we do things the way they are supposed to be done. From us, She Masters Toolbox Talk and Maureen Mothuba, it's a very good night. We really appreciate you. We really thank you. See you again next time, next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, where we are going to be discussing more issues on health and safety. Good night.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye.